This is how I made a month of content in a single day leveraging Claude Code. This is the same content operating system I'm using for myself and my clients. And in this video, I will go over with you the 6 phases of this entire content operating system that basically shows how I turned raw footage into multiple pieces of content throughout the month, distribute to their social platforms, all handled automatically by Claude Code, and obviously my human creative effort on the side. So if you've been trying to actually put AI to work for yourself, running your whole content operations, this video is exactly for you. And do me a favor right now, hit the like and subscribe button here so it reaches to more people. Let's get into it. All right, so in this video, I'm gonna go over the main 6 phases that I went through to create a month worth of quality content in a day for one of my clients. These are the 6 different phases that I'm going to go over and displaying in this video that are part of the content operating system I have been sharing with all of you guys for the past 6 months. But recently, 2 months ago, 1 month ago, I made massive improvements, and we are now at this point that this actually is super powerful, and I want to give you clarity on how you can start getting your own content operating system in place, how you can leverage it, and how you can get the most out of it in some way, and understanding all the pieces that are part of this system. That's the reason I'm making this video. So let's dive into it. It's worth mentioning also that this content operating system that I have installed for other businesses has generated me more than 5 figures at this point that I'm at right now. And I am just fully dedicated to building this for the next couple of months. And I'm going to keep sharing and updating the whole journey on my side. So don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on the bell notifications so you don't lose any future video. All right, so here we have the content operating system that turned the raw footage for my client into a month worth of content distribute in a single day of me dedicating, creating the proper workflows, the proper skills, the proper agents and formats for his social platforms. You might be asking, where is this content operating system living at? Well, it's just living inside folders. The folders are getting managed by my Claude Code agent, and we have a dedicated folder called content production. Here's where the main constitutional files live from the content operating system, like the brand profile.md, the content planning, the assets, and the whole management of where are the pieces of content located at in the pipeline. Is it in production, posted, or scheduled? So we can have track of every single piece. This is also the place where we are storing all the assets. All right, so with that being said, this is also the place where all the tools like HyperFrames, Zernio connection API, Key.ai connection API, and Assembly.ai connection API are located at. It is a unified space where you can manage everything, and also your Claude Code agent has all the resources given. All right, so the first step of the workflow is uploading the raw footage. Now, this footage needs to have some type of purpose, right? So for example, my client runs a sports facility business. What I asked my client for was kids playing on the field, kids making tricks, coach interviews to kids and coaches, and also group field conversations. Now, my client gave me the vast amount of footage, the sufficient amount of footage that I was able to retrieve and get out a month worth of content. Just to put it in perspective, he gave me 3 days worth of recordings on the main things that I asked for. And now after the footage is getting dropped, we go over the next different set of phases on the workflow. First, we basically have a dynamic workflow directly from Claude Code that reads and understands all the footage being given. This workflow lives inside the .claude folder in its own workflow section called Footage Intelligence. What this basically does is that workflow gets triggered, and then it launches hundreds of agents to analyze each of the pieces of footage being given, either videos, images, or audios. And then after that, it goes into assemble phase, and this basically just chunks all the recordings from all the agents into one MD file called footage intelligence, and then the drop name. And that's how we get a full analysis of the whole footage done by Claude. Inside this workflow, we use tools like Claude Vision. There's a very good repo that I recommend you taking a look at. This is the repo that I recommend you taking a look at, Claude Video Vision. And we use AssemblyAI for the transcription model, leveraging their model AssemblyAI Universal 3 Pro that extracts the world level timestamps from all the videos. Also, like I said, this workflow focuses on bringing up the key moments and the strong beats of what is actually worth cutting and keeping. And it also contains the tool for face tracking whenever we want to do a reframing process. All right, and we are moving now into the next phase. The previous phase, Claude already got a clear understanding of what is the footage being given, right? He understands all the videos, all the images, and has a clear idea on how can we turn all of this into pieces of content. But Claude doesn't have an idea of a structured, formatted way of how we create content. And that's where we integrate ourselves, developing a creative format with its own specialized agent and skills, so it can develop the proper pieces of content with their own set of purposes, right? The formats actually depend very much on your actual footage being given initially. So this means that you can bring raw footage without any like purpose, and you can create dedicated formats out of that, or you can bring your own footage with purpose already, with an idea of what you want to get out of that turns into a piece of content. This is the place where your dedication needs to be at, your creative direction, your creative thought, and being super clear with what you actually want. And remember, you don't have to be super clear at the very beginning of the exact thing that you want perfectly. You can actually get support by Claude on the whole process. Remember, Claude already understands the whole footage. It understands your brand profile. It has a clear understanding of where can we move things forward. All right, so with that being said, these are the main 5 formats that I use for one of my clients, taking in consideration that this is a sports facility. So with all the footage being given of coach interviews with players, coach interviews with coaches, players on the field, I was able to create this 5 formats that I found interesting, and Claude support me through the whole process. We have Spotlight, Pulse, Carousel, Compilation, and Montage. All right, so we start with the first initial format, that is Spotlight. This is basically spotlighting the actual person that we are interviewing in the clip. So the coach is interviewing another coach, and we are just bringing the best moments out of the video interview that we got into this clip here. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna play the video, but it's worth mentioning that this is a very cool video that got me surprised on the actual like thought process and outcome in general, for the reason that, first of all, we start with a very well optimized cover for Instagram. We are posting these clips on 4 platforms mainly. You can see that we are adding the proper captions with the branding color, but also the footage that I got initially was all over the place. It didn't have labels that, okay, this person is in this B-roll, this person is here. No, Claude actually understood who was getting interviewed and picked the best B-rolls where she was showing up in there. So that was super nice. That was super clean. And as you can see here, we're also optimizing for a call to action. I'm just going to play
the indirect thing to focus on the
clip.
Thing.
You will see that we are picking the best, well, Claude is picking the best moments out of the interview and putting them together and bundling them into this clip.
She's talking about is
he's adding the captions,
we do coach
highlighting some of the main points with red, as you can see here, is leveraging the branding colors of the brand. So that's crucial. That's very important. He's adding also the music on top of the clip, and these cool B-rolls that are very nice, aligned with what she's saying.
But
And then we're going to
if you
see
just
the
keep going,
end
don't give up.
that is very
That's
smooth.
what's going to help you reach that next level that these boys want to achieve.
And then the call to action. Super cool. Now we transition to the next format that is basically Pulse. This is just basically compiling the most fun clips out of the interview and putting them together in one. So this is one cool format that is, it was also like fun to come up with and use. Another format is the carousel. So if we take a look here, we are leveraging and using the brand profile details. Like we are taking consideration on what are the typographies that we use, what are the color branding for the letters, for the background, for the different set of slides that we are leveraging. And this is super cool. We are also leveraging the right set of images based on the main topic of the carousel. It was super smooth. I really like this combination of slides that turn into this really cool carousel. And then I'm gonna end with this two other formats. The compilation is basically compiling all the interviews from coaches, from players, putting them into one. I'm not gonna share that. But this montage one was really cool. As you can see here, this is basically a combination of all the B-rolls and clips from kids playing on the field, adding really cool music, very dynamic, and ending with this, you can call it word layer that is cool to see for the reason that the word is getting covered by the kid just doing one type of exercise, doing the work on the field. And this was fully edited by him. I didn't have to touch anything. He did all of this fully for me. I just had to guide him through creatively on what is the actual outcome that we want at the very end. All right, and now you might be asking, what are we using for rendering, for editing, and what is the actual thing that we are doing here when it comes down into putting all these cool clips together and creating this cool pieces of work? Well, the agents and the skills already have understanding of all the tools that we have contained inside the content operating system. One of the tools that I love is HyperFrames. HyperFrames is this framework that basically allows your agent to create videos and edit videos without any coding constraint. What I mean by that is we used to have Remotion. Yeah, Remotion was able to edit videos and create videos from just one coding language, that it was React. Now, HyperFrames allows multiple coding language to come up with videos and edit videos. So the capabilities of the agent are not constrained. Just put it in perspective, right now, the content operating system on the side of editing got improved 11%. The reason why is because Fable 5 was launched and the benchmarks show that software engineering work has increased 11%. What this actually means is that you're going to start seeing better videos getting edited and created by me in the next weeks. That's all. One cool thing that you can start doing with on this phase here is you can get HyperFrames, not only edit your whole videos by adding the captions, proper reframe, keyword pop-ups, the whole editing that you need and you need to come up with. Yes, it can do that for you. But also you can have multi-parallel rendering processes. So you can spin up multiple sub-agent processes for the rendering, or you can trigger or create a dynamic workflow that triggers hundreds of agents for rendering your clips or footage that you need to be turning into a piece of content. Depending on how much volume you have, you can go either way. And by the way, HyperFrames can render in any single format: 9x16, 16x9, 1x1, and the rest. All right, moving into the next super important phase, distribution. This is the next phase of the workflow. This is where we have the automatic publishing and distribution process. And in this case, the API platform that we're leveraging and that I love also is Zernio. Zernio is this social media API for developers and AI agents that focuses mainly on bringing us a unified experience in one platform. So we have a lot of different dedicated endpoints for publishing, analytics, comment to DM automations with platforms like Instagram and Facebook. Ads. They also have like an in-house server that hosts webhooks, and also you can host your own AI agent handling replies through Instagram and Facebook. So that's super cool. But yeah, this is a very crucial step that allows Claude to actually have a connection to all of your social platforms and being able to schedule and publish your content. Before this step, basically Claude goes into triggering some of the agents that we have tailored specifically for packaging the clips out and using the humanizer agent also for just a natural text getting shown on the title, descriptions, and hashtags. And then when that video is already done, fully done with the proper packaging, now is going to basically distribute all of those clips, all of that content throughout the month. And that's exactly what happened with my client. This is the actual report from Claude on how he distribute all of the freaking pieces of content that he created throughout the month. Now, another cool thing that I'm doing with my client is adding this comment to DM loop automation inside their Instagram directly, and also Facebook. Zernio has 13 social platforms that you connect directly. The ones that I'm mainly using are YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook right now. And obviously LinkedIn for my own use. And I use Threads and sometimes X, not very often. But you can add this comment to DM loop automation that I have created also and dedicated a video already inside the main Zernio channel. So you can check that out here. I will leave it also on this section here. That basically works as someone leaves a comment to your post with a keyword. That person gets a reply to their comment and also a direct DM with the main outcome that you promise. That's it. Now, one key thing that needs to be mentioned here, inside the content operating system, we're basically also storing all the published posts. So after a week, we have a schedule being triggered every single week. So we can check the analytics and create a dedicated report on what are the actual metrics of the post telling us, okay? That's actually a functionality that I mentioned already that Zernio has, analytics. And by the way, I forgot to mention that if you want to start with Zernio right now, you can start by going into the link that I'm going to leave in the description, and you can start for free today. The payoff, a month of content in one focus day. The old way was 30 hours spent on filming, editing, captioning, resizing, scheduling, and spreading everything across the weeks of the month. Now we have a system that takes a day of dedicated focus to create a month of content everywhere. And then it's about an hour a month. Well, that's the beautiful promise. Maybe could be less, could be more, but you get the point that all of these things that I have shared already are super freaking powerful. And you got the idea of, oh, this is a great reminder from Enrique that I need to just improve my actual system. And I just need something better. I need a proper operating system that allows me to get my time back and multiply my output without constraining my quality. And this brings me into my last point, just about positioning. Positioning is actually very, very important in business. And this is just a reminder also of don't sell the system, sell you on top of it. There was a clip that I saw from Alex Hermosi, and that was something that I was incorporating before Alex Hermosi said that and put a word into what this actually means. He's just naming the term BYOS, bring your own software. That basically is the promise of, hey, you don't need to hire an entire content department. You can just hire me with my entire operating system handled by my agents, all trained by me, and you can pay me the same amount of price or a little bit less for what you will pay an entire content department team. That's the actual premium move. You bring your own judgment, you bring your own taste, you bring your own capabilities. You train your own agents and system around the work that you do, and you charge a very premium price for it. That's it. And that was all for this video. Hopefully you got clarity on how I was able to get a month worth of quality content in a single day using this content operating system. And if you got any questions throughout the video, please let me know in the comments. I'm here to listen. What up, everyone? If you got into this point of the video, I want to share something with you. This is my full Content OS playbook that I dedicated the past month to put together, containing the full guide and instructions on how I was able to get a month of quality content in just a single hour for one of my clients, including all the skills, agents, dynamic workflows, and the prompts I use to get to that goal. So if you want to have access to it, just head into the first link in the description and apply for it for free. At the same time, just don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, follow me on my LinkedIn specifically, because I'm going to be posting more details on what I'm doing, and I just want to connect with you directly. And yeah, nothing else to say. Thank you so much for staying at this point of the video. Don't forget to check out the videos that you're going to be seeing here, and see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.